Good morning. I always sing the theme song every time it plays. It's my
It's
morning routine with it.
I'm happening to it.
It's too catchy. It's my morning wake up. Just jam to it.
How are you this morning?
I'm good. I know. I was just telling you. I just saw a rainbow out the window, even though it's raining a bit. That was nice. Bit of
It's a
sunshine coming
sign.
through. It's a
Are you meant to
sign.
make a wish when you see a rainbow?
I think so. I think isn't that like an Irish thing? Like there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's it. Now, you're a media marketing team member, expert, university graduate. You've studied stuff. You've studied a part, and there's lots of psychology that goes into marketing. One of the topics that we had our entire sales meeting on yesterday, or most of the part of the sales meeting, is pushing our marketing that little bit further for our customers in order to get the end result of attracting more buyers, in order to getting the end result of getting a greater price. And there's different things that people can do, I guess not just in real estate, but in any industry, to step it up, and you step it up and everything goes better.
Definitely. Like I think marketing's one of those things. I think a lot of the time goes sort of just to the side. It's one thing that sort of gets forgotten a lot of the time. That's like across the board, across every industry, and especially the type of like creative marketing, like a lot of creative and like just visual things sometimes get left behind because they're more costworthy or they're more risky and they're harder to measure in terms of return. So I think it's one thing, it shouldn't be undervalued.
And also, when it's hard to measure, it almost borderlines kookiness as well. So I think you've sort of got to go out on a limb a little bit, knowing in your heart of hearts that you've done the right thing by the buyer and by the seller and by the property, and that there is no turning back, and it just is the right thing, even though it costs more money and time, even though you can't measure how much more or better it's going to do by the people out there, you still got to do it.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's going to be risk in any marketing move that you do, and it's about making the right ones that are going to have a higher return. Like a higher risk means higher return, and it's better overall. You just need to have a good understanding of which risks you want to take, I guess.
Now, I love this topic because even though we're talking about floor plans this morning, and we are going to drill down into some intellectual property on floor plans in a second, but even though we're talking about that, it really can be applied marketing 101 to whatever business you are, to whatever you're doing, what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, like, I like using the example of Coca-Cola because I feel like that's the marketing textbook. So, in terms of like emotional marketing, which is my like go-to term, it's my favorite. It's really hard to measure because it's not numerical. So you have to sort of get an understanding of word of mouth, interview people and ask them about, for example, the auction last night, like to the buyers there, what made you want to buy this property? What did you see that made you sort of like flick the switch in your brain that goes, oh yes, I do want to get this property. But again, that's harder to measure. It's not a where you can look at an Excel spreadsheet. You sort of have to do the market research yourself.
Yeah, and it's an example of marketing last night with that auction was the couple only just saw the property and they only just saw it on Sunday. And you think to yourself, agents that are not doing Sunday open houses and are not making that property extra accessible, would the buyer simply just come through another open house, or would they have missed it? Because those buyers paid the best price, they paid more than the second best buyer, they got more money for the client. But how the hell do you measure it?
I know
Let's get into the floor plan. Let's show a floor plan of what we're talking about marketing 101 today. Good morning to Anmal, you legend, and good morning to Bronwyn. Great for sharing your giving to you the knowledge. Thanks, Bronny. Hope you're well. All right, let's go. Let's bring up this floor plan. Actually, do you want to do an introduction first?
Yeah. Okay. So, firstly, this is the original floor plan that we got for this property. So I'll just show, I've got a printed version because I'm old school today, but that's the original. There's not a hole there. That's a plant. It's just green. But
Okay.
Your stock standard floor plan, just like boxes, lines, text, and the media team sort of realized that there's a way to play around with the floor plan to show more of the property.
And also, I think it's important to say that if you're looking on realestate.com at a property, I feel sorry for realestate.com. I feel sorry for consumers, and I feel sorry for sellers, because there's been absolutely no evolution, IP, marketing, brain push, brain flex with anything that's been done there. The photos just look damn good and the floor plans look damn good, but no one's really pushing the envelope, and it's just the same shit that you're seeing over and over and over. And how do you push that? And how do you get a bit of that? And video has always been very good because you can push that little bit more, but you still don't see video content being pushed out hard on realestate.com. But when you see, for instance, the floor plan, the thing that we noticed about floor plans is that they are all shit. They are done by a floor planner, and the salesperson, the DJ, the person running that campaign is not running their flex, their IP, their intelligence over the floor plan. They are merely approving what someone's done. Bedroom 1, bedroom 2, the measurements, living, dining, kitchen, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what they should be doing. We're going to show you now.
All right. So here we go. This is one for our Jess and Mark's property, actually, 8 at 109 Oaks Avenue. So this one, you can sort of see that we've actually put the beach at the top, because that's the big selling point about this property. It is so close to the beach. I've been there myself. And if I was just looking at this floor plan, yeah, I would know sort of where the beach was in terms of the compass, but actually looking and seeing, oh, it's 200 meters from DY Beach, and being able to look at those photos and be like, oh, the balcony, like I can sit on the balcony and feel the breeze from the ocean. It's just sort of painting, it's allowing the person to sort of sit in that floor plan more.
So can we zoom up a little bit on that top left? So as a reference point, and to repeat what you're saying, that's relative to where the unit is, that's where the ocean is in that direction. And then you've written 200 meters. So it's actually just having a bit of fun with floor plans. They're telling people a little bit more, something they could have missed in there. What else have you got on this puppy?
Well, even these little grey dots here, they sort of point, like, for example, you can see here there's an internal laundry, but it's also a butler's pantry with a laundry space. So even there's only so much you can say in the tiny space on the actual floor plan. So like even this, it's a full bathroom. Like you'd see that and go, oh yeah, it's a bathroom, but it's got a separate tub and a separate shower in that bathroom.
So it's pretty much doing what a salesperson should do, the floor plan. So it's basically, yes, the floor plan has done a wonderful job, but then the salesperson's done their spin on it. So when the buyer is looking at it, and this is what Apple does with their products. When they package it, why are they spending so much time on packaging? It's because they want you to pull it off the shelf. They want you to be in love with the product. And that's what salespeople should be doing with their floor plans. So what else? What other annotations? Oh, this is another one.
Yeah, so this one's for 208 at 1 St. David Avenue, another DY property. But this one, what the sales team wanted to do, froze for a second, is that because there's so much space on the floor plan, and sometimes you want to be able to like imagine where you put the furniture. So this one's a fully furnished floor plan.
Yes.
And so you can see like bedroom, it's got space for a full queen bed plus space for bedside tables. A guest room, you can fit a sofa bed in there. And we didn't even mention last time, like we've got these photos as well, which are actual photos from the listing that have just been put on the floor plan, because it just saves the person looking at the floor plan from being, oh, is that one the guest? Oh, I'll go back to the floor plan and, oh, no, that one's got a window there. Like, we're just telling you, we're getting rid of that step and just making it a bit easier.
And also, Nat, I think it's good for you, like when you're a salesperson or when you're an owner looking at your floor plan, you take a lot of things for granted. You've actually been there. So you sort of assume knowledge, and then you assume consumers are going to have that knowledge that you've got. But I think that with our industry, what we've got to remember, these guys have no idea. They are sitting possibly on a computer in Singapore, or they are sitting on a computer 10 kilometres away or 5. They've never been in this unit. They have no idea what you're talking about. So you really need to push it with your floor plans.
Yeah, and even from like someone working in the media team, from our perspective, having the time to sit down with a sales agent, sort of talk through the floor plan, what's like good but's not shown in the photos, it's really good like from a marketing perspective, because then we can sort of like focus on the parts that we're not seeing ourselves, but we know are there just from having a bit of extra knowledge just by sort of playing around with these floor plans.
Yeah. Now, my question is, how much more is that floor plan going to make for the seller?
I think that's a question back for you, the sales agent, Mark. I would be throwing any number around.
Does anyone? But you know what? And we talked about this off air. Heart of hearts, you just know you're doing the right thing by the buyer, and you just know you're doing the right thing by the seller. You know, when you look at the shit floor plan of this property and you compare it to this floor plan of this property that we're currently looking at, if we could zoom up a bit on that puppy, you just know that you can't put a dollar figure on it, but you know it's going to make more money for the client. It's just the right thing to do.
Yeah,
and I love what you said about Coca-Cola. You know, Coca-Cola just tripled their sales because of some marketing they did. No one cares if they triple their sales. They just love the marketing.
Yeah, so Coca-Cola, it's like they could have tripled their stock on the shelves, but if you go up to a person and say, oh, why'd you buy a bottle of Coke? They're not going to say, oh, because they tripled their stock and I saw it and like it flooded the market. You're going to say it's nostalgic, it brought back memories of going to the beach and it's a beautiful day outside. It's that emotional like feeling you get when you see some good marketing.
Yep, absolutely. So let's hey, thanks, Hethlin, for the compliments. We'll tell you in a sec how we're doing this. Okay, again, this floor plan normally would have had generally no furniture, generally bed 1, bed 2, living, dining, balcony. That's it. We have got where the ocean is there relative to the property. We have got, even though it is 500 metres away, we've made that annotation there. The photos are on there as well. The terrace is on there, floor to ceiling.
This is one thing I really like about Jess actually recommended this idea, but even this little thing here, so it says potential to add a breakfast bar. So you're not just showing what's in the property now, you're showing what could potentially be in the future. And we've done this before, like we've got dotted lines showing like you can separate these rooms if you wanted to. Yeah,
so a buyer may look at this floor plan and say, to expand on what you just said, a buyer may look at this floor plan and go, no, I don't like kitchens that just have a galley kitchen, which is just a galley kitchen is just a kitchen on a wall. So the salesperson has stopped that person in their tracks and said, hang on a second, just imagine you could put a breakfast bench here and create that U shape or kitchen floor plan. So it could turn a buyer that's not interested into a property to interested in the property just because of what's on the floor plan.
Exactly. Like there's so much potential and there's lots of flexibility. It's just, but saying that as well, you have to be a bit cautious because you don't want to put stuff in there that is false. Like for example, like the size of the furniture, you don't want to be putting a tiny bed in a room to make it look massive. Like you don't want to be putting a kid's bed and not specifying. Yeah, so it's you got to be careful, but it does help add value to the floor plans.
Who are we going to give the credit to for these floor plan concepts? And we're going to talk about how Kathleen wants to know about how they're being created. But first of all, who's responsible for this?
I think the mastermind behind this would probably be our designer, Lisa Glynn, because she sort of started coming up with these bubbles with the photos on it. That's where this all started for our magazine, The List, that we do weekly. And then it sort of just started going from there. And we all just sort of started playing around with it. But I think it's Lisa conceptualized these little bubbles, and that's where it sort of all started. And like the potential of it just grew.
And I guess coming from a sales perspective, and if you've just tuned in what we're talking about, feel free to ask any questions. Is that the sales floor plans in our entire industry across the whole of Australia are just boring, and we have tried to converge salesmanship into a floor plan with creative, and then to make these more interactive, more fun. I know we're just talking about a floor plan, but you can say the same about Apple and their boxes when they box an iPhone. It's just a cardboard box, but it's more than that. Do you know what I mean? And it's really pushing it.
Even so on this listing as well, like even we've added this little text in here so that on realestate.com, it's all photos, but it's sort of just making a bit of point of difference. Like it's going to make you have a second look. So like, for example, if I'm looking at this bedroom, like I know I can see that there are like floor to ceiling windows, but it's not really going to like just having that little extra bit of text there sort of, it flicks a switch in the brain.
And I guess it's as when a salesperson walks into a main bedroom, they don't say this is a bedroom. They will talk about in that bedroom what are the winning features. So we've put those winning features overlaid them over the photos as well. So now it's starting to mesh between both.
Yeah.
All right. Before we go, I think we've nailed everything there. How do we do it? Just to answer a question.
Like that's the big secret. I feel like we can't give away too much, but I think it's a lot of practice, a bit of Photoshop, and time. They do take time. That's one sacrifice you're going to have to make. It's not something you can make up quickly, but I think for the end goal of making this really cool, different floor plan, I think it's worth it. So we have a team of 3 in the media team here at Novak, and I think it's just time and training.
That's the secret. So it's not a magic piece of software that does it all for you. It's getting together with it's integrating the salespeople, the media team, the floor plan lady, getting everyone just to push it good.
Yeah, push it real good.
Push it good. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching this morning. We hope we inspired some people out there. Sometimes you think you're a bit fruity or nutty talking about just floor plans for 15 minutes, but I think it is it's a culmination of a whole bunch of intellectual property. Being in sales a hell of a long time, doing a degree in media, having a whole bunch of people. Just actually, that's what we're getting paid to do. We're getting paid to sell. So whether we've got the ability to be opposite the person in the room or got the ability to put a floor plan together really, really well, that's your job as a great salesperson.
Well said.
Have a good day.
You too,
See you,
Mark.
Bye, everyone. Take care. Thank you. See ya.